All right, hey Blood Dads, we are in Wekiwa Springs here in Orlando, Florida. As you can see right behind me, this is our car or vehicle, and we have a kayak on top and a kayak inside our vehicle right now. So we're here on my birthday weekend, and we brought my parents out and about to the natural side of Florida instead of the tourist side. So it's been years since I've been here. When I was in college at UCF, a bunch of my friends and I, we went over here to Wekiwa Springs, and we took a kayak or canoe from here all the way down for miles and miles and miles, and what a trip that was. It was such a blast. But things have changed over the number of years, so apparently this place has gotten a lot better. And we're going to show you around. So let me go ahead and show you. So at 9 o'clock this morning, it was not as busy. So most of the cars were in this area right over here. And right now, here we are just after noon. And literally there's 6 spaces open right over here. So a lot of people from the morning are starting to leave. And I don't recognize some of these cars here. So here comes the second wave of people for the afternoon. It's quite busy now, being afternoon, and you'll see that. So that you take this one of the walkways down over here, and it's a downgrade, so it's not a very hard walk when you're going downhill, but when you're coming uphill, because it's at a we're actually on a hill, and it goes towards Wekiwa Springs. You'll see what that's like. Yeah. So there's a nice long boardwalk here. So this stretches this looks like about 25, 35 yards. This is my second daughter. She decided to join me. Hi. Okay. So right from this angle that you could see Wekiwa Springs right in front of us. And like I said, it's more modernized and built up over the years than we were here. So like I said before, we're going to walk you around the entire area. As we usually do here on Blab Dad. This is our 11th spring of 1,000 springs. So we still got a ways to go, but here in October, you're in Florida, it's still hot here. Other places it's cold, and it would probably have to shut down. So the place we're going to go is we're going to make a left. Come on, honey, let's go this way. So as we make our left, one of the things that most places do not have is this nature center. So this nature center has been built for the public. And so let me show you the map of Wekiwa Springs. We parked right here. There's the boardwalk to go down to. Now this is a sloped grassed area, and then there's Wekiwa Springs itself. So we're going to show you the nature center, then we're going to walk around, and then we're going to come over here near the canoe area, then come back down to the concessions, and then back again to where we're actually staying. So the nature center is open, and if you're a Florida State Parks Junior Ranger, they do cool presentations. This morning I saw one of the rangers show a corn snake. It's pretty awesome. So here's some of the artifacts that they show in this particular nature center. Some of the wildlife that you'll see possibly in this area. Hard to see this, but yes, there are gators here. And there's supposed to be some live specimens of a corn snake and a gopher turtle, but they're not in here. And since we are in Florida, they've got a lot of these, there you go, it's hard to see, sorry, you gotta go at an angle. These orb spiders, which make beautiful webs. But let me go ahead and show you some of the presentation materials, which is pretty neat. It gives you an overall historic timeline of what Florida used to be in this area. So, life before Florida, 40 million years ago. Florida rises from the sea. What's cool is, did you know that this entire area was out of the water? According to what they're saying from the last ice age. So this is the typical Florida, as you can see in the green, of the shape of our state, but it was much more than that way back when. It literally went into the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic. They talk about the fossils, the first settlers, which were the Indians, the early history of the park, of what you can find. And this was interesting. So the Spanish were the first ones, obviously, to settle Florida first. The British tried, and they were not as successful. Then finally in the 18th century, some loggers and farmers came to this area in and around the Civil War. But believe it or not, this was called Clay Springs before it was called Wekiwa Springs. And there was a hotel here. These are the pictures to prove it. There's the logging industry, and there's some old-time swimmers in some old-fashioned bathing suits. And this is pretty interesting as well. So Wekiwa and Wekiwa are two different names. Wekiwa is the Indian Creek word for bubbling water, which is the spring itself. But in terms of the river, Wekiwa, and I did not know that. 26 known springs in the Wekiwa River Basin, which run 14 miles long to the St. Johns River. What's important is that 42 million gallons of water comes from this actual spring here, from the Florida aquifer. And if you know anything about the Florida aquifer, it's the one that supplies a lot of water to Florida. And what is very, very interesting is that 90% of it goes to Seminole County residents. So the aquifer is so important to the state and its residents. Conservation and recreation, as well as what today's threats are if we keep on cutting down trees and losing habitat for these wonderful animals. All right, we're going to continue from the Nature Center and walk all the way around. There's second daughter. She's joined me. This is going to be a much longer video than normal just because of the scope and span and how large this area is. So let's walk over here. And this is the slope of where a lot of people are just hanging out. And you can see right down there is the Wekiwa or Wekiwa Springs. They've got facilities over here. This is only one of two, but bathrooms for ladies and gentlemen, as well as a shower area. This is just another walkway to the actual parking lot right over here. Another large area where people can go ahead and set up. Again, if you wanted to have a trail, you can walk down here and it goes all the way around on the outskirts of the actual park itself. Again, you've got these steps as I go along. There are no lifeguards here. Swim at your own risk. And there's wildlife, so that's why they have these kinds of trash cans here. So we're actually set up right under this nice tree. It's not as hot. It's cool. So there's my family right there. We have our two river run tubes that we're going to use in the second part of the video, but we're still walking. And here we go. This is Wekiwa Springs. There's a spring boil right there. You can see all the churning of the water. This is the only place where it comes up, 42 million gallons a day. And this is the area that rings around. There's my daughter right out there. She's waving her hands. And so we're going to go ahead and take a walk around the entire perimeter of the spring. This is a super small area for the kids to go ahead and play in, not very large at all, because the area inside the springs is deep. They've got ADA access from here down to where the those with ADA access need to get into the water. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
So where this bridge is, there's no swimming beyond that point. So that trail that I mentioned before, this is where it comes out of from when we were up there. So this is the stopping point of the swimmers. We are absolutely on the other side of the spring itself. And then when you turn around, there's the river. Tons of the kayakers are here. There's a little small kayak launch we're gonna walk over to right over there. And this is the place where many years ago that my friends and I took a canoe and we traveled down the Wekiwa River. Again, the distinction is that the two words Wekiwa or Wekiwa means bubbling, and then as it runs through and goes to the river, it becomes the Wekiwa. So this walkway extends around to the Kayak Launch. And this is where folks can go ahead and come in and out. And you don't have to park over here. You can literally take your boat or your kayak, and from wherever you're coming from the river, you can go ahead and stay right over here, get out, and then use the spring itself. But as you can see, you got to pay. Okay, here's the pay box. Pay to use the spring. Just because you don't have a card doesn't mean you can't come in and pay. So here is the kayak launch itself. Like I said, years ago, my friends and I, we used kayaks like this. There was 4 of us total, and we went down the Wekiwa for like miles and miles and miles and for hours.
Look at those tiny little...
Yeah, look at those water bugs right there.
They're so tiny.
They're on top of the water.
I thought they were fish.
So this is a much better sign and information about Wekiwa. So it's always interesting to see the actual map. Here's the Wekiwa Springs, and here's the run itself. The run is actually the start of the river. And then there's also Rock Springs that runs into the Wekiwa River. There's another area of the Little Wekiwa joining up to the bigger, larger Wekiwa River. And then it starts to join up with some other ones. Blackwater Creek, Seminole Creek, Lake Monroe feeds into the Wekiwa River. And then it forms into what is called the St. Johns River, which starts in Sanford and runs all the way to where we are in Jacksonville. So again, you got to have life jackets, and this is the rental store. Yes, ma'am. So you can see Wekiwa State Spring Nature Adventures. This is where they help people get into their kayaks and other things. Let's keep walking. So this area over here is where if you have a kayak like we do, you have to bring it all the way down here and launch it right over there. So for us, it's pretty far. We're still deciding whether or not we're going to do that. But this is a second area where there's a concession stand as well as more bathrooms. So as you heard from the lady over there from the Kayak Adventures, you purchase your kayak over here. Like I said, here's the grill, here's the restrooms. You got a nice area where you can sit and eat. Here's their grill. Oh, they even have lockers. I didn't know that. They got lockers. And you line up here, and there's the rental place. So let's do a complete
1, 2, 3.
walk to where we need to go. And we'll go down a second set of, actually a third set of steps that go down to the spring itself. So there's various entry and exit points to the actual spring. And we ended up over here at the spring boil. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get in our river tube and we're going to go out into the spring itself. All right, everybody, Blab Dads, if you like what you see, go ahead and comment, like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell as well as share. If you've ever been to Wekiwa Springs, tell me all about it and what has been your adventure here. So we're going to go inside the spring. We're going to get on our tubes. That would be the first video. And then the third video, which I'm cringing to do because I hate cold water, but we're going to check out the spring itself. We're going to put on the mask. And I have my new Akaso camera that I'm going to put on top of my full face snorkel mask. Then we're going to go underwater and film and see what that boil looks like. Okay, everybody, we'll see you later. Bye.